All right, we're live, and today we are talking about, dang, why is it so hard to find some of the simplest stuff in Costa Rica? Well, it just is, but I've got good news. Today I'm going to be telling you and sharing with you some tips, tricks, some hacks on, hey, where are the best places if you're going shopping to buy stuff for while you're building your house. Hey, after you get done building that house and you want to fill that house up with furniture, where is the best place to go? Is there one singular place you could go and save money? I know if you live in remote areas, man, it's tough because I've been all over. But what about if you're just trying to go grocery shopping? That in itself can be a nightmare. And look, forget it if you want a refund. Refunds don't happen in Costa Rica. But I'm going to give you tips, tricks, and just give you some clues on everything that we're talking about, okay? But first, as always, remember, I'm going to answer every single question that we have on the live broadcast. And so first, we'll just cover, these different things. We're going to be talking about shopping, not only just, stuff when you're trying to build, fill your house, grocery shopping, just some good common sense stuff to give you some pointers, some clues, things that I wished I'd have known when I started, because wow, that was such a huge challenge. Because hey, whether you're coming from America, Canada, hey, I think we are spoiled. I mean, it's so easy for us in the United States to just run to Home Depot, run to Lowe's, buy the tools that you need. Man, a bit broke, you need a router bit, you need a new saw. It's so easy. Just run right there. Go pick up what you got to pick up. It really is that simple, okay? But not in Costa Rica. I mean, I'm talking about if you're just looking for some basic, simple things, man, it's a challenge. It is just a serious, serious challenge. If you're going to be building a house in Costa Rica, and I hope y'all are enjoying this series on building this house in Costa Rica, if you're going to be building a typical Tico house, okay, your challenges are not going to be that big because they've been building houses in Costa Rica a stinking long time, okay? But they build totally different than how you would be building in the United States. And so those are things that you just really need to fully understand, okay? So hang on one second as I welcome. We got someone that's Randy and Mari, welcome to the live broadcast. And I'm going to mute your mic, but whenever you do have a question, hey, just wave at me, let me know when it's question and answers time, and I can turn your mic back on. That way I don't get any feedback on my end, okay? So anyway, you're always welcome to join me live, just like Randy has, or you can join us on the live broadcast on YouTube. But today we're just talking about, hey, what are the tips and tricks? What are the hacks we need to know when it comes time to actually going shopping, finding the things that you need to find, because it is a challenge. It's like I was saying, if you're going to build Costa Rican style, hey, no problem. But you still are going to have problems when it comes time to finding the right tools, because I'm telling you, it's amazing to me. And look, not just me. I've talked to other contractors, other people who's built. But when you hire a crew, it's not like this crew comes here with their own tools. Most of them don't. They come there with a handsaw and say, I can build a house. I'm like, what? No way. You practically are going to have to supply all of those tools. Now, I'm sure there are some high-end builders out there that do have their own tools, but I am shocked and amazed at what I have learned in this building process while we've been building this particular house in Costa Rica, okay? So anyway, let's first off talk about, some of the basic things whenever you're building your house. So like I said, when you're building your house, you build it Tico style, no problem. But most of you are not going to do that. But, some people have asked, well, hey, look, Alan, I want to build a house, but I really want to just build something fast, quick, cheap, that I can live in short term while I'm building or getting things ready for my big dream house, okay? And that's a great idea. So if you get ready to do something like that, I highly suggest that you buy one of these, what's called a prefab concrete house. If you get a prefab concrete house, that is what pretty much most all of the Tico houses are being built out of. Costa Rica has this system in place for some of the poorest Ticos who, if they can just get a piece of property, a lot of times family member donates them a small piece of property, then, if they can prove that they are very poor, the government will give them a prefab concrete house. They will erect it. Now, it will be nothing more than a shell. It will have concrete walls. It won't have any electrical. It'll have places for the electrical. You'll have to do your own electrical, do your own plumbing. It won't have any ceiling. It will have just a metal roof. It'll be very, very, very basic, okay? But it's a place to live. And then, hey, you can do the rest of it, okay? So I would highly suggest buying one of those concrete prefab houses, and you could throw up a concrete prefab house, little bitty 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, $20,000, $30,000, small, typical Costa Rican type house. And you can easily live in that while you're, designing, preparing, everything for the actual house that you want to live in Costa Rica, okay? Because when it comes time to buying that, hey, bottom line, it's time to buy those materials. Even in Jaco, where we're building, it is a serious challenge to find the right materials. You're simply going to have to go to San Jose. So the owner of this house practically goes to San Jose every single day as he goes back and forth, spends pretty much all day buying everything he simply needs to buy, for this house and bringing it back. So he's got a truck. It constantly gets filled up practically every day, so that the guys on our job site are able to continue to build what they need to build for this house. Now, this house, bar none, is not typical at all. Matter of fact, I haven't seen a house anywhere in Costa Rica built to these standards. Without a doubt, this is going to be the most well-built, strongest house I've seen in Costa Rica. These steel structures that we put up, these floors have 2-inch thick floors made out of some of the hardest exotic wood in Costa Rica. It's made out of mora. And so we've got some mora wood. We've got what's called, it's black wood. Madera Negro. No, it's Madera Negro. Anyway, it's Spanish for black wood, and it's a hard tree to find, so it's very expensive. They have some good cedar as well. Anyway, we're putting some really thick stuff down for the floors and some good stuff for the walls. But anyway, this house is unbelievably built, okay? So if you're going to be building a house like that, you're going to have a tough time finding those kind of materials. But those kind of materials, the only place you're going to find is going to be in San Jose. Now, can places like Jaco, San Isidro, and other places get it from San Jose? Sure. Going to cost you more. It's just better for you to go get it yourself, and find what you need so that you can get the right things. So, when it comes time to building your house and you're looking for materials, the best thing to do is spend a lot of time in San Jose talking to different places. And they actually have some really great hardware stores there to where you can buy the tools you need. Right now, we're having a serious problem finding a router bit. Believe it or not, you can find router bits all day long at Home Depot, but not here in Costa Rica, okay? And so we're having troubles because they got a lot of cheap brands. And we must have 101 different cheap brands in Costa Rica. But to find a very good brand router bit that's going to route out what we need on this very dense hardwood, we're burning through router bits left and right. So you have to go to San Jose. It's tough trying to get things. And so the question is, well, Alan, why is it so hard to get stuff in Costa Rica? Well, you have to understand, and I don't mean this in a bad way, Costa Rica is a third world country. They don't produce this stuff. And so they're having to import the majority of this stuff into Costa Rica. And so it's very difficult. And they're trying to import the majority of it from China. Well, China can produce high-end stuff, but most of the time they're buying low-quality stuff from China because it's the low-quality stuff that Costa Ricans can afford or want to pay for. Or, whoever's buying it's like, I'm going to buy this low-end stuff from China and I'm going to price it high-end stuff, and you don't know the difference. Okay, you'll find out once you start using it. That's just part of being in Costa Rica. So that's things that you do need to know. So it may behoove you that if you're able to just buy a lot of that stuff and put it in a container and ship it, that would probably save you a lot of money, even though that would take you some time to get it here. But the good news is that's a bit of a challenge. However, in our next live relocation event that's happening in January, you're going to get to be able to talk to an expert on all of that shipping that's going to show you everything that you need to know, can help you to make a move like that so much easier, so that if you're getting ready to move your furnishings, if you're getting ready to buy all that stuff from the United States and ship it here, you'll be able to do that. So anyway, if you're going to have to buy stuff here, San Jose is the place to go. But let's say you finally get your house built, and now it's like, okay, Alan, is it better for me to just import all my stuff from, import my stuff from the United States, my furnishings, or would it be better for me just to buy here? And so that depends. And it depends on what kind of furniture do you have. If you have high-end furniture, or you have an emotional connection to it, it's an heirloom or something, hey, bring it on over, okay? Yeah, it's going to cost you money. However, if you're not attached to it, you can just go to San Jose and buy some really good furniture. Will you find stuff that's as good as what you might in the United States? Probably not, but you can get very comfortable, good stuff in San Jose. And that's where, if I were going to fill my house full of brand new furniture, I would just go to San Jose and I would hire a truck and I would buy everything that I needed, one fell swoop, put it on that big old truck and bring it down. That's what I would do, okay? It would save you a ton of money and be a whole lot cheaper than trying to ship it in a container. However, if you're having a big house, it might save you money to put it in a container. And once again, at this next live event in January, then you can learn all the tips and tricks for doing something like that, okay? So anyway, you built the house. Now you've got it full of your furniture. Well, let's talk about something as simple as, okay, well, look, man, before I move on to that, I did say go to San Jose, but there's one solution or one tip that a lot of people never hear about. There's two places in Costa Rica that you can go and buy stuff and get it duty free. In other words, you can go to the Panama border, and at the Panama border, there's a lot of furniture shops that are actually on the Panamanian side, and you can really buy some good furniture, but it's duty free. You're not having to pay a bunch of taxes on it because it's on the border, okay? But I don't seem to find a lot of really high-end stuff there, but you can go to the border of Panama. You can really buy a lot of stuff and save money because it's duty-free, tax-free, because it's on the border. But the best place to go, in my opinion, and what you don't hear a lot about, is going to Golfito. Golfito is, if you were to follow the coast all the way down the highway, you would get past Dominical, you go a little bit further, and then as you're getting around Rio Claro, then Golfito is a peninsula down there. Go to Golfito. They have this humongous area that's well known for duty-free shopping. And so this humongous area where you can buy everything you need to furnish your house. And I'm talking about you can go buy car tires, everything that you need as far as your kitchen supplies, washers, dryers, refrigerators. You can really find some neat stuff there, really neat stuff. But you can buy, all your mattresses, everything that you need to find, you can practically find it there. Now, surprisingly, I could not find any computers there, and that's simply because at that time I was told that computers normally aren't taxed, but I didn't find that to be true. But anyway, maybe it's not supposed to be, but it was. Anyhow, I couldn't find that kind of thing, but you're not looking for that kind of stuff anyway. As I've always said in the past, if you're going to buy any kind of technological stuff, computers, don't buy it in Costa Rica. Bring that stuff with you when you're coming from the United States. So a great place to buy all of your furnishings is San Jose, but if you want to buy all of it in one big swoop, you can go to Golfito. There are things that you need to understand about that because there are some limits on how much you can get. And I want to say it was either 1,000 or 2,000. Anyway, as far as duty free, and then you had to fill out a form and get a ticket. But like anything else, like going to the border, there's always going to be scammers down there. I probably shouldn't say that. There's people taking advantage of the system. So you're going to always get a bunch of ticos and people be like, we'll say you our form. So if you need to buy more than what you're allowed, you got people there that will gladly help you buy the rest of what you need with their papers, okay? So anyhow, that will save you a big chunk of money when buying stuff by going, and 1,000 ain't a whole lot when we're talking about, or 2,000 is not a lot when it comes to saying, well, I'm going to buy a high-end refrigerator or something like that. But you can make, anyway, several trips. But there's certain, and I just can't remember all the rules to it because when I went was many years ago, and there's so many times a year that you can buy a certain amount of products duty-free at Golfito, okay, just to give you an idea. But you're unlimited when you go down to the border. However, the same thing falls in there, that you're limited to so much. The thing is that there's nobody checking you. I bought a bunch of stuff there. We loaded it all up, went straight to the house with it, didn't have any problems. I made as many trips as I wanted. So those are just some tips that will save you some money practically whenever you're going, okay? So let's just talk about something as simple as grocery shopping, okay? Because even grocery shopping, because remember, I've lived all over Costa Rica. Intentionally, I lived in the more rural areas. I don't like living in touristy areas, and I'm in a touristy area now over in Playa Hermosa and Jaco, and I just don't like touristy areas. Touristy areas are always more expensive, okay? And I find that to be extremely true here in Jaco because there's so many tourists that come here, and we're at the height of the high season, okay? So as summer starts right now, man, the Jaco is full of tourists. And so the prices even double during the high season, okay? Obviously not in the grocery stores, but in the restaurants, things go up. But let's say that you're going to the grocery store. You know, going to a grocery store in Costa Rica was a nightmare for me when I first came because I love grocery stores. I owned my own grocery store. So, you know, as I owned my own grocery store, it was normal to open up the store, turn on the lights, and have a nice, clean store. Well, in Costa Rica, they don't turn on stinking lights, okay? You go in the grocery store and it's dark, and that's because it's daylight. Now, they might turn on the lights when it starts getting dark at nighttime, but it's just not uncommon to walk in a grocery store, man. You're just trying, you can't see, okay? But they're saving money on electricity, okay? So if you want to go to a grocery store and it's nice, you kind of feel like you're being in the United States, there's a grocery store, it's called Auto Mercado. Auto Mercado is like the high end of the grocery stores. And man, you walk into an Auto Mercado, it's like going into, you never realize you left the United States. I mean, the lights are on, air conditioned, the floors are clean. They got real shelves. It's not wooden shelves. I'm talking, look, I know that's funny. You're thinking, what? Yeah, I mean, it's got real shelves and real groceries, and you can find the things you're looking for. So there's an Auto Mercado that's in Heredia, not Heredia, Herradura, which is just about 10 minutes north of Jaco. So about 10 minutes north of Jaco, Herradura is a little bitty community. They got a really nice shopping center there, and they've got a really nice Auto Mercado. And you go in there and you just feel like you've left Costa Rica because it's very clean, lights, air conditioning. You can find lots and lots of groceries that you would probably find in the United States. Keep in mind, those things have been imported from the United States. And I'm talking about Campbell's chicken noodle soup, okay? Campbell's soup, if you like. I laugh because it's funny. I was walking through there with a friend. I'm like, look, there's Campbell's soup. You know, she's like, what's that? Because she was from another country. Anyway, there's lots of groceries there from the United States that you're used to buying that you simply do not find in Costa Rica. You just don't, okay? So if that's what you're looking for. Now, the good thing about being in a touristy area like Jaco is that some of the higher end grocery stores will have they cater to the gringos or the foreigners in the area. Like I live on Calle Hermosa. Well, Calle Hermosa only has one little convenience store. And in most cases all over Costa Rica, if you go into a convenience store, which is typically called a pulperia in Costa Rica, a pulperia is really like a family-owned convenience store, and it's typically in the front of their house, okay? And they live in the back of the house. You can go and buy all kind of stuff, and the prices are really not that big of a difference from going to a big grocery store. But not here. On Calle Hermosa and where there's a lot of locals, it's a true convenience store where you are paying the price for the convenience of getting it at that store. And so typically stuff's going to be almost double as what it would be when you go into a regular grocery store. So do keep that in mind. On Calle Hermosa, they got that one convenience store. It's kind of nice. They do cater to the locals, and the prices are very high. Okay, so but it's just something that you need to know about. Tourist areas are expensive, but the auto mercados, and you're going to find them probably from here up north. Okay, but if you go south of here, I've not yet to see an auto mercado anywhere. But just south of here, you get down to Manuel Antonio. I think that's the first place you start to see what's called the BMAs, okay? So it's a great big old capital B, capital M, BMAs. The BMAs started off in San Vito. They are kind of like the auto mercados of the South. They're high end. The prices aren't crazy high, though. They're not way more expensive, but their stores are clean. They have actual clean bathrooms with actual toilet paper, paper towels, running water, and toilet seats, okay? Toilet seats? That's right. Toilet seats are extra in Costa Rica. I know that's funny, okay? But it's a fact. Toilet seats are extra in Costa Rica. A lot of places don't have toilet seats. Why? Because it's extra. You don't need it, okay? So anyway, if you know, we're just used to these kind of things in the United States, but in Costa Rica, surprisingly, this is stuff that is not the norm. So these are things you need to know about. So anyway, if you're going shopping, obviously the further south you get. So if you're in San Isidro, you can find a lot of stuff. So the Perezeladon, San Isidro is the town in the Perezeladon area. You can find pretty much anything that you want. I think San Isidro is the best place for expats to come and hunker down right there and start learning everything, because you got hospitals, clinics, all the shopping. They do have a Walmart, and you can really get adjusted to Costa Rican life. Okay. When I came down in San Vito, and it was so very difficult to go shopping because you have a shopping list and you might have to go to 10 different stores to get everything on your list. It was just that difficult to go grocery shopping because you just don't find what you're looking for. And I'm not looking for anything difficult. I mean, I'm just simply looking for tomatoes and bell peppers and bananas and toilet paper and paper towels. And I'm just looking for basic stuff. And it was just that difficult to find. And a lot of times, especially since the pandemic, it's very difficult to get stuff imported in. And it was just a breakdown in communication and getting stuff here. So it is very difficult to get stuff. The whole shopping experience is completely different because you go into the grocery stores or you go into a clothing store, and it's, they're not there to help you. And they're watching you like a hawk as if you're going to steal something. And I just really, I was like, why are you following me? I'm just looking. But they're following your tail as if you're going to steal something. I still can't get used to that. And that was down south, a lot at the border. So anyway, but when you leave the center of Costa Rica going south, it gets more and more difficult just to find some of the basic things that you would normally have in your home. Okay, so that's why I say if you're going to live down there, it's just way better to drive to San Jose, make a big trip, buy everything that you need and bring it back, or go down to the border near Panama, and there's just great places to shop up and down the border, and then you get it duty free, and you just load everything up in a truck, come back, and fill your house up with everything that you need. For me, I live way up in the mountains, and I'm only a couple of hours away from the border of Panama. So that's what I do. I go down there and I'll buy 3 months supply worth of groceries, bring it back up the mountain, and then I don't have to go shopping again for 3 months, and then of course, as I get things grown, I have all of my vegetables there. So anyway, that just kind of gives you an idea. So let's go to the Q&A here, and that's kind of just a big overview on some of the best places to go shop if you're shopping in Costa Rica. So let's go to the question box, And I know this seems kind of basic, but I know I've had a lot of, it's a challenge to find. The shopping in Costa Rica it's a nightmare to me, especially because I've had my own grocery store and customer service was number one. I was always there to help the customer in every simple way. But in Costa Rica, they're not taught customer service. So it's very, very, very different. So now's a good time let's go to the question box. Do we have any questions that you have? And I'll be more than glad to answer any questions. Remember now, hey, get interactive. If you're looking for practically a free vacation, I am looking for an intern, and you can check the links below so that you can click on the link, find out what you need to do to qualify to be an intern at the Off-Grid Homestead if you want to learn a little bit about that, okay? And hey, look, don't forget, if you're wanting to talk to any of our experts, okay, you can always schedule your free 20-minute phone consultation so that one of our experts can talk to you. But hey, the best thing for you to do is to actually come to the next live relocation event. We're going to have a blast, okay? So at the next live relocation event, not only are we going to learn a lot of stuff, get to network with all of the experts, a lot of different YouTubers. For example, Sarah Elena, she'll be there talking. I'll be speaking. We'll actually have Michael Allen, from I can't remember what he calls his channel. Anyway, Michael Allen, the guy, he's been here longer than any of the other YouTubers here. So he'll be speaking, I think, at this particular event. So anyway, you want to make sure that you register for this event, and you'll get to network with all of those people and talk with them and ask them questions. And, I'll be there all week long speaking and talking and networking with you. So anyway, make sure to schedule for that live event. So let me go to the questions box and see, what questions do we have? What things are you curious about? And not only about today's topic in shopping, but hey, anything that you want to know about, now's the time to ask it, okay? And I know this is not one of those sexy topics, right? But hey, that's one of those topics you're going to do every single day. You're going to be out there shopping. And are there ways that you can save money? Because, hey, keep in mind that when you are out there shopping, when you buy something, it's done. You're not getting a refund. Now, they might actually take it back. Let's say it's broken, and they'll say, okay, we're going to ship it to the factory. And when they get it fixed, we'll get it back. You're not going to get a replacement or anything like that. Totally, totally different here, okay? What's even crazy is, in the United States, if you buy something and you return it, which is very normal, and you bought it with your credit card, they will refund that money on your credit card. They won't give you cash back. Well, several times in Costa Rica, I always look at my receipt, and so many times they make mistakes, and I go back and I say, look, you overcharged me for such and such, such and such, and such and such. Okay, they make a mistake. I give it to them, and they will give me my money back, but they don't put it back on the card. They will give you cash, okay? So it's very odd, but that's what they do. They give you cash instead of refunding it on your credit card. I guess they just don't know how to do that. I don't know. But I've never had anyone in 9 years of being in Costa Rica that actually refunded me something and put it back on the card. Just didn't happen. Because I've gone somewhere and bought a whole grocery load full of stuff, and I tried to get something other, and they gave me a hard time about it. And I says, I don't want none of it. Take it back, And, of course, I hadn't left the store yet, and I made them refund me the whole thing, and they just gave it to me all back in cash. I meet somebody that's a rear end to me. I don't have a problem saying, never mind, I'll go shop somewhere else, So anyway, it's a different mentality in Costa Rica. Their mentality is not one of, we're going to take care of Costa Rica. Okay, here's a question that comes in, and Rohan says, how do you pay property tax for a property you bought in Costa Rica? Is there property tax in Costa Rica? Yes, absolutely there is, and there are several different ways that you can pay that property tax. Property tax is due right now, okay? And so normally you go to the local municipality, okay? So that you got a local municipality, local government, and you go there to pay that property tax, okay? Now, the best thing to do, if you're in Costa Rica, that's not a problem. You just go to the central office and you can pay that tax, okay? But if you're not here, then the best thing to do is to have your attorney who helped you buy that, or if you don't have an attorney, get with my attorney. We interviewed her, and she can help manage all of that for you. So she will actually manage that for you, and she will send out emails, let you know, hey, it's time to pay your property tax every year, so that you don't forget that. And then they will actually pay it for you if you want to, and then bill you so that you can reimburse them. So I hope that answers your question, Rohan. Okay. So, which I'm glad you asked that, because also if you have a vehicle in Costa Rica, you know, at the end of the year is when you've got to pay your marchamo, and that's the insurance on your vehicle. And so you can actually, now I bank with the Bank of Costa Rica, so I just log into the Bank of Costa Rica and I pay the marchamo, my insurance for my motorcycle and my vehicle online at the Bank of Costa Rica. Now. Here's a funny note, and I didn't think it was funny at all. You might think it's funny, but I paid my marchamo online, okay? And when I did, I saw I had an extra $25,000 fee on there, and that was because, you know, back when it was time for me to get the retive, the inspection on my vehicle, I had just got my vehicle out of the shop. So the retive was expired, but I had the guy doing all of this work so that I could take it to get it inspected. On the way from the shop, no lie, on the way from the shop going to the inspection station, there was a traffic cop who pulled me over because my expired inspection sticker, and I'm like, wait, look, here's my receipt. I'm going to get it inspected right now. I just left the mechanic. He's like, too bad. Expat, you know, of course, he like, too bad, gringo, pay up. Of course, you know, he probably wanted a bribe, and I ain't giving him a bribe. And so I called my buddy. He told me what I needed to do, who lives in Costa Rica. And he says, don't worry about it. Leave it alone. Don't even pay it. He says, just wait till it's time to pay your marchamo. And when it's time to pay your marchamo, you can pay it all at the same time. And that's exactly what happened. I had completely forgot about it until it was time to pay my marchamo. Paid my marchamo, and when I paid my marchamo, I saw the extra 25,000 Kelowna ticket for having an expired retive. He must have got up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay, they just all of that away. Okay, he wouldn't give me any grace, even though I just came from the shop. So anyway, it's just part of it. All right, let me take a quick look at some more of these questions right here. At the time, it wasn't funny at all. I guess looking back, it might be funny. All right. Zibia Summer says, is there still many acres available for farming up in the mountains? Absolutely. There's, you know, if you go into the mountains, and really that's some of the best places. If you're looking for a place to farm, here's just a clue for you, a good tip. As you're driving, I'm going to have a video on this here pretty soon because I've been grabbing some video footage. If you're looking for good farmable land, although you can farm anywhere, if you're looking for prime farmable land, as you're driving around, look for black or brown dirt. Because you'll notice as you're driving, you're going to see a lot of red dirt. And whenever you get anywhere into the mountains or you get anywhere that's near volcanoes, the closer you get to volcanoes, the richer and blacker the dirt is. And that stuff is just very, very fertile for growing. So yes, you can find lots of places for sale in the mountains. And look, you might have to do some legwork, find out who owns it, knock on some doors, guarantee you can buy property, and you can buy it cheap, a lot cheaper than anything that you're going to find on a real estate website is when I say cheap, okay? And look, you can't, you know, these farmers, a lot of them inherited this property, and you can, hey, I just want to buy a hectare, or I want to buy, you know, an acre, and you can get some really good deals, okay? Michael in Rondon here is saying that across the road from them, they got 58 hectare for $500,000. So 58 hectare, depending on where is that a good deal, not a good deal? It just all depends on what it is and whether it's usable property or not. And of course, she says beside them is 1 hectare for $40,000. Okay, so 1 hectare for $40,000. That's really not too bad a deal, depending on where that's at. Okay, can you get some cheaper? Yeah, but keep in mind that the smaller you get, obviously, the more expensive it is. You know, I know someone that bought a tiny piece of property and spent $50,000 for it in this area. And I thought, that's crazy. Ain't no way in the world I'd spend that kind of money for something that's not even a quarter of an acre, okay? But depending on where you're at, and I've always said it, you know, land is only worth what you're willing to pay for it. I'm not willing to pay $50,000 for something that's a quarter of an acre. But if you want it bad enough, I mean, it's worth it to you, okay? And of course, she puts in there where she lives at, and you can contact her and find out, okay? So anyway, there are lots of places to buy property, okay? All right, what other questions do we have here? Because we don't have a whole lot of people today, and I kind of expected that. People are like, I'm not going to a live broadcast on shopping. I can go shopping on my own. Okay, don't save no money. Don't find out the best place to shop. Don't matter to me. I'm here to help you, and I'm going to have fun while I'm doing it. So anyway. So, hey, you know, for me, I enjoy living in Costa Rica. There's a lot of things I don't like, but hey, I always try to focus on the positive, and I try to have fun while I'm doing it. Hey, I really hope a lot of you guys will join me at the next live event, because we are going to have a blast learning a ton of stuff, and not only learning stuff, but we're going to actually, you know, go on some tours, waterfall tours. We're going to go zip lining and ATVs and horseback riding and all kind of just fun stuff. So I hope you'll just join us for this next live event in January. We're going to have a lot of fun. All right. So what else we got going on? Somebody talk to me. Share with me your experience. Let me know what's happening here. And you know, that's one of the key things, because Rhonda just put in there, yeah, the land here is usable, it's flat, and you know, so anyway, that's really important to know, because there's a lot of property in the mountains that you can buy, especially where I live at. I live on 1,000 acres, okay? And of that 1,000 acres, there might be 20 acres that's actually usable, okay? Now, you can go into the mountains and you can level you a spot. So anywhere in the mountains, you can level a spot. Keep in mind, you know, you're going to have to get a tractor to come and do all of that. And then if you level a spot with a tractor, then you're going to end up knocking off all your good topsoil. But keep in mind that you can garden anywhere, but you might have to start composting so that you can generate good soil. But you know, I'll be sharing more tips on what you can do as we get done with this job site here, and I'm back on the off-grid homestead, because you can practically grow anywhere in Costa Rica. But if you can compost and you can generate your own soil, and there's a lot of easy ways to do that, you know, and that's by having a few chickens, some rabbits, some livestock, some quail, things like that. That's going to help fertilize and regenerate the soil, you know, once the dozers and the tractors have come and leveled off a spot, or if you bought a place that has just red dirt. So I see there's a few people that just joined in, and hey, yeah, I hate that you're late, but I'm glad that you joined in. Better late than never. Or like I saw somewhere on I was watching a crazy movie yesterday, and the guy says, well, better late than pregnant. And I thought, dang, that ain't right. but I understood what he meant. It almost went over my head, but yeah, anyway, glad you're here. Okay. So we've been talking about, you know, hey, how to actually save money. So the bottom line, you know, if I wished I'd have known this a long time ago, but when I got here, the best place in the world to actually buy all of the stuff that you need to buy is to go buy it in San Jose. Hey, when you first start buying, go down to Golfito, because if you go to Golfito, buy as much as you possibly can in Golfito, because you're going to save a lot of money, because it's duty-free. It's tax-free, so you save a lot of money. But remember, in Golfito, you're limited as to how much you can actually buy, okay? But once you've spent your limit, then you can buy the rest of it over in San Jose, or go down to the borders, okay? Summer says, what regions would you, you know, I quickly forgot to put up here. I'm going to put the question up here. Summer says, what regions would you recommend for affordable land in the mountains? And we're looking at the southern area and southern central. Yeah, land left of San Jose is truly more expensive. You're absolutely right. The closer you get to San Jose, the more expensive it is. So if you want to find land that's in the mountains that are cheaper, hey, go to Paris Celadon. go to San Isidro. Man, there are just lots and lots of properties in that area. There's a neighborhood that's called Miravalles. It has some really beautiful views. Lots of places in the mountains that you can get land so cheap. Lots of properties there. So anywhere from Paris Celadon area, San Isidro, down south, you're going to find things a lot cheaper because there's just not a lot of foreigners, not a lot of expats in that area. So you can find a lot of things a lot cheaper, okay? This is a good question here. Irina says, any idea where to buy Long Beach chair cushions? It's hard just to find cushions, okay? So here's what I have learned, and I'm glad you brought that up, okay? You see this? This is just a simple cushion, okay? And these are things that you simply do not find in Costa Rica. Why is that? Because Costa Ricans will sit on a box. They'll sit on a stone. They're not worried about what their butt is on. So it is really hard to find that kind of thing. So I'm glad that you brought that question up. Now, what I have found is, like, I found this happened to be in Walmart. So you're going to find those kind of things, surprisingly, in Walmart. But what you're asking for, Arena, is those cushions. Sometimes if I'm thinking about what you're talking about, you can find those cushions, and it's called the El Lagar. Okay, the El Lagar is it's kind of like a Home Depot, but without all the wood and stuff, to where you have a lot of these outdoor furniture type stuff, and you can go buy, those kind of things. So if I were you, I would look inside there, and it's these. We have an El Lagar here in Jaco, right on the main highway, and I can find those kind of things. And I think she's saying maybe she looked there, but I'm not quite sure. It might be a typo in there. Oh, she says she's been there. Couldn't find it. Some things are just truly very difficult to find in Costa Rica. And what I've learned is if you see it, if you see something, don't say, oh, I'll come back next week and get it. It won't be there next week. So if you happen to be looking for something, look, I have a hard time just finding a good wine glass, okay? And so the other day I was in the Auto Mercado. Hadn't been there in a while. And I was in the Auto Mercado and I saw some nice wine glasses. I'm like, dang, I've been looking for these. And I was like, I'm getting them right now. Because if I don't get them right now, next week they might not be there and you might not see them for months. So if you see something that you've been looking for, that's important to know when it comes to the shopping experience. If you see it, buy it. Don't wait. Because if you wait, they might not ever have it again. And then again, they might, but it might be months and months before you find it. So a lot of times when I'm looking for some of these hard to find things, matter of fact, an egg separator. People, in Costa Rica, you don't find egg separators, because Costa Ricans are like, man, gringos are stupid. Why in the world would you want to separate the yolk away from, the egg white? Just eat the whole thing. But, if you're on a particular diet and you're trying to get rid of a lot of the fat, well, the fat is all in the yolk. So you get rid of the yolk and you give it to your cat, okay, or your dog. Costa Ricans, I ain't giving nothing to my dog or cat. They can feed themselves. So anyway, that's just life. Anyhow, it's true. Hey, Martin's got a good question right here. It says, there are several international schools in San Jose, Alajuela, Guanacaste, but are there international schools for elementary age kids in San Isidro del General? Yes. I won't say it's an international school. I don't know if it's international, but it is a multilingual school that is in San Isidro. Matter of fact, it's toward the south side of San Isidro. It's a nice multilingual. I can't think of what the right word is. But anyway, a lot of the expats in that area send their kids to that school in San Isidro. So that might be what you're looking for, Martin. So, all right, what else we got? Any question that you have, whether it's on shopping, groceries, eating, anything, now's a good time to ask. So anyway, we're having a lot of fun, and look, I just enjoy giving you some information. I got a great video coming out here in just a few days, but I've got a couple of more tour videos that's coming out so that you can kind of see, where are some of the best places to live in this area. I found this really, really neat place that's over in Jaco, and man, it's kind of like the rich and famous only live in that area of Jaco. And it's like no ticos there unless you're rich and famous live there, but it's mostly expats and foreigners that live there. Where I'm living at in Calle Hermosa, man, it is full of nothing but expats, but lots of great places to live in here. So I'll be doing a tour video on that here shortly, okay? What Richard says, what options for gluten-free for Aston, etc. Now, that's where you have to get creative. If you're looking for specialized foods, it gets challenging. And so that's where you just have to actually, if you go into stores like the Auto Mercado, you can find some of those kind of things. But man, that's where you just really got to do your research and find what you're looking for. At one point in time, I was just simply a vegetarian. I love meat, okay, and no one makes a better hamburger, no one makes a better steak than I do. However, I saw this documentary. It was called Game Changers. Extremely good, but it was all of these world-class athletes, and they went from eating animal products to just strictly vegetarian, and how much stronger they got. So I tried that. And man, I was shocked because just in a couple of weeks, I immediately was a lot stronger. So, but it made it very difficult to actually find the things I needed because I was trying to eat healthy. And so it's even difficult whenever you're looking for options of gluten-free. But hey, I've got a friend that she's completely gluten-free. She's healthy. It's just, when you go eat, you gotta find those options, okay? It's just a little bit more difficult, okay? And K4 says, I want to farm. And if you want to farm, you will have no problem finding a farm. Lots of places where you can farm. And I think more and more people are coming to Costa Rica because they simply want to, they want to get self-sufficient. They want to be able to come here and maybe not just be self-sufficient, but they want to live economically and grow their own stuff. Because, if you're growing your own stuff, it's a whole lot easier to be gluten-free, chemical-free, and that's me. I try to eat as few chemicals as possible. And as I'm growing my own stuff, well, I can really, really be 100% healthy and chemical-free when I'm growing my own stuff. And hey, here's a good question from Esquire. How are you getting along in Jaco without the wife's Spanish translation? So, in Jaco, you almost do not need to know Spanish because there are so many expats in here that there's a lot of people that know English. But, hey, knowing Spanish does make life a whole lot easier, okay? Man, you just really need, and of course, I'm working on my Spanish every single day. But man, in Jaco, there's a lot of tourists, so there's a lot of people that know English, and nowhere to the level of you and I. But anyway, it's well worth it to study up on your Spanish. It really is. I've seen a lot of these stupid YouTube videos from people that were here 2 weeks, and they're like, "Oh, you don't need to know Spanish. Everybody knows English." Knucklehead. I don't know why you're putting a video up there. You don't know the first thing about Costa Rica. But anyway, if you go to just the touristy areas, yeah, it seems like everybody knows English, but that's not true. Not true at all, okay? And so, of course, K4 says, where do you live at? Well, I live way, way, way up in the mountains above Buenos Aires, which is about 2 hours from the southern border of Panama, and that's in the center of the country. So I live in an area where, there's no electricity, there's no water, there's no cell phone signal, there's no internet. Matter of fact, I could probably just tell you what we do have instead. Well, we have monkeys and we have land. And that's it. And then if you want all those other essential things in life, you have to create them. So I have my own. I got water from a river. I have solar panels for electricity. I have instant hot water tank from a propane. I still don't have cell phone signal. We'll never have cell phone signal. But I created my own internet. So I live very, very remote. Very few people that I know of would live there. Okay. Hey, Irina says, is there any salsa classes? Almost everywhere in Costa Rica. If you do a little bit of research, you can find somebody that's teaching. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a salsa partner. So why don't you come on down here, Irina, and we can be salsa partners as we go take classes together. I want to learn some of the dances they have here. They got some really sexy dancers down here, okay? And she has, have you tried to plant vegetables, I guess, in Jaco? No, I'm only up here temporarily in Jaco, so I haven't planted anything here. But yes, there are people that have, okay? And as I said earlier, Buenos Aires is about 2 hours south or 2 hours north of Panama. And Buenos Aires is just a really valley, hot place. If I'm going to be in a hot place, it better have some water. And Buenos Aires don't have any water, no ocean. But Buenos Aires is pretty much owned by Del Monte, or what the locals call Pendeca. Thousands upon thousands of acres of pineapples, okay? Hey, Summer says the best places to rent while looking for property. Now, look, the best thing for you to do is when you're coming over here, Summer, is to go to Airbnb and put in there, 30 days or 60 days at a time. If you put in 30 days at a time, it will show you all the places that are open for long-term rental. And then you can rent one of those for 30 days, but you don't want to stay in that because that's going to be expensive. You want to then walk around. You want to go to the farmer's market, drive around town, knock on doors, and you can find local houses to rent. Because I have rented as cheap as $60 a month to as much as $300 a month, for a 2-bedroom house. So you can find some, locals will rent to each other really, really cheap. And that's how I found one from a local. Was going to rent to me one for like $60, $80 a month. Okay. So you can find some cheap places, but you're not going to find that on Airbnb. You're not going to find that on a real estate website. You're going to find that by coming down here, renting from an Airbnb, staying there 1 month, and then just going around town, and you'll find a place. And so, it's going to be a Tico place. You're not going to be finding anything with American standards. And keep in mind, a Tico place, you're really renting just the walls. Because when you get there, the majority of places I rented didn't even have a kitchen sink. But the rent is so cheap, you just buy a kitchen sink, install it, So anyway, that's just something for you to know about, okay? And of course, K4 says, well, what is that close to? Talking about Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires is close to Buenos Aires. There ain't nothing else down there. So you just have to go onto the Costa Rican map. And matter of fact, well, I would pull it up, but it's not important. But you go to Costa Rican map, you go to maps.google.com, and you put in Buenos Aires, Costa Rica, and it will show you exactly where it's at. And I'm just way up in the mountains. Matter of fact, on some of my other videos, I show exactly where that's at, okay? Okay, so, all right, so Irina, it's a date. You're just going to have to give me the time and the date that you're coming down here so we can go do some salsa classes. All right. So anyway, what else we got going on? So lots of cool stuff. Let me check out the private chat. I see a couple of questions there. Man, now that is, he's got a really good question here. But anyway, Rowan says, why Costa Rica doesn't have coconut milk? Only young coconut. So, that is pretty amazing to me. With all the coconuts that are here, you would think that they would have coconut milk. With all of the plants that they have down here, that the green plants that have, crap, I can't even think of it now. But anyway, it's good for sunburn. And anyway, somebody tell me what I'm thinking of. But anyway, with all these plants, they don't even sell their own stuff. But you would think Costa Rica would have their own coconut milk, and they don't. And But now are some locals that make coconut oil, and you see a whole lot of that on the Caribbean side. Not a whole lot on this side for some reason. You know, as far as shredded coconut stuff, you would think with all the coconuts that they have in Costa Rica, they would make their own, but for some reason they don't, okay? Which kind of just blows me away. But Costa Rica just doesn't make a lot of their own stuff, and it surprises the heck out of me, okay? I'm trying to think of, what is that stuff that comes out of green plants, and it's really good for sunburn? I can't think of the name of it. Maybe one of you guys will think of it. But anyways, really great to put on your skin. Matter of fact, I use it for my head every single day. It'll come to me. But anyway, matter of fact, I'm going to look real quick. Now I can't stand it. Hold on. I couldn't stand it. There it is. You would think with all of the green that they've got here, there would be a lot of aloe vera. Yeah, see, Martin, you the man. Yeah, Martin, yeah, Samba did it, Samba as well. Absolutely. Y'all was thinking like aloe vera. You would think Costa Rica, they got tons of aloe vera plants here. So why in the world they don't have any blows me away, because this stuff is expensive. So if you want to buy some aloe vera, bring it from the United States, man. But this stuff is so good for sunburns. And hey, I use it for my head all the time because I'm constantly scraping it. You know, when I'm cutting my hair, I go to the beautician and they got. Some of y'all didn't think that's funny. I spend a lot of money on my hair. Anyway, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, see, Martin says that his family's from the Lemoyne side, and you can definitely find, you know, you can find coconut products over there. And the coconut products I've seen the most is coconut oil. They're making coconut oil over there, organic coconut oil, and they're putting it in whatever bottle they can find, okay? Oh, Kevin Falk got it right too. Aloe, absolutely. See, just as I was going to get it, y'all thought about it. Anyway, absolutely. That's just one of those items that's really expensive. Hey, check that out. Now, I hadn't tried that. Martin says he used coconut oil on his shaved head. Maybe I can try that. Hey, the question is, are you growing your hair back? I've tried all kinds of stuff. Hey, I hear if you take some of that cow manure and put it up there, you'll grow it back. I ain't going to try it, though. You let me know if that works, Martin. All right. Okay, I'm having way too much fun, and I don't even have my apple juice today. I don't have apple juice because my refrigerator's still broke. Okay, all right, fantastic. Well, hey guys, we're here at the top of the hour. I hope you've had as much fun as I've had today, and I hope you've learned a few tips and tricks as to how you can actually save money when you're going shopping. So keep in mind, if you're going to buy it, you bought it, you won't get any refunds, but you can save a whole lot of money simply by going to the border and buying everything that you need there, going to Golfito, and if you can't find it, hey, you go to San Jose, you're going to find what you need, even though it's very difficult to find even in San Jose. So, folks, I've had a great time. I hope to see you again, hopefully next Sunday as we do another live. But anyway, we're getting closer to the holidays. I hope you all have a wonderful, awesome holiday season, and be looking forward to some of the next videos coming up soon. Make sure to join me, schedule, and reserve your seat for the live event in January. Spend some time with me a whole week. Talk to you later.